Okay, we should be going here live here shortly. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think we're live. Yes, we are live. All right, excellent. Here we are. Okay, I'd like to welcome you back to Real Cast Fishing. Your host, Glenn, with the Sierra Valley Fishing Field Team. I don't have the music and everything going because, well, bottom line, I'm just kind of testing things out and just want to make sure I've got the stream working correctly. A new setup is what I'm trying to do. Let me say hi in the chat here real quick. Hi. Okay, this round what I want to talk about is specifically looking at ultralight bait casting. So we'll just give it a few while some folks join, and while I'm waiting for some folks to join, just kind of say howdy, give you guys a heads up as to what I've been doing, plus, and let's have a little brewski on the side here. All right, and this setup that I have is a little bit different. What I've done is I've kind of switched things around so that I can demo what I'd like to. So this round we're going to be talking about ultralight bait casting. Yours truly been out there kind of hitting the local ponds and whatnot, doing a little fishing here and there, and I just wanted to talk about what opportunities are out there. I'm wondering if can you guys hear any echo or anything? I'm wondering. Okay, well, let me know if there's an echo. I can fix that. I believe I have an idea what it could be. Let me see if I can just confirm. Ping me if you hear an echo. Okay. Let's see, what do I want to talk about? Well, I think the first thing is ultralight bait casting. I was just going to go through the different bait finesse systems gear that I have and some of the things I've been using out there lately. So let's go ahead and start out with one. This is the Casking Zephyr right here. Bait finesse systems gear right here. And let's see if I can get you another view right there. Okay. And this is the one that I first got. It's the one without the reel clicker. And then later on, I switched over to one that has the reel clicker. And both of these have done really well over the years. And I had them initially on I picked it up at at Bass Pro Shops. It's a fiberglass microlight rod, and they did well. It's fiberglass, so it was very, very flippy. Since then, I've went ahead and switched it over with one of these Cabela's. This is a short rod right here. Let me see if I can get you a better view. Right here. This is a short rod right here. This is one that I like keeping handy for fishing and whatnot, just on the fly as I'm out there. Okay, and this is one that it's normally a spin caster. It's a Zebco rod, and I just repurposed it into bait finesse system style fishing, and it's done well for me. All right. Okay, and then with those, I was watching it's a saltwater fishing channel that I follow over there on the Galveston, Houston, Texas coast, and he suggested using the Scorpion BFSXG, and this is an older model, the 17 that I've been using, okay, and he suggested in salt water being able to take it out there because it does have seal bearings, and I've had some pretty good success. I've taken it out salt water, and I've caught some pretty decent fish as well. See, Hanaro Marolo, hi, how's it going? Appreciate y'all joining tonight. Just talking ultralight bait casting. Just want to let you guys have an idea as to what gear I've been using and some of the live streams, mobile fishing live streams that I've been working with here lately. I went to several ponds, one with using trout magnets, inline spinners, ultralight gear, 1/16 ounce typically, but with certain reel combo, I've been able to cast these 1 gram trout magnets. So with that, let me take you to that one real quick. This is the one that I use when I want to go light. Okay, and when I say light, 1 gram trout magnets, I think they come in at 1/64 ounce. And it's the Kingfisher Flight or Feather Flight Kingfisher. I got 2-pound test on here. You probably see me several times out there fishing. No, I'm not fishing. I'm just talking about fishing and the gear that I have used over the past 3-4 live streams. And this is it right here when I'm talking about the 1/64 ounce or 1 gram trout magnet. This has been a fun one to use. And when I say trout magnet, it's this one right here. In fact, here, let me see if I can get you a better view. Okay, let's see. There it is. Little 1 gram trout magnet. Okay. And this is one that I used to catch mainly some little bluegill, but I have gotten some pretty decent ones, bass at least. And in some of the more recent videos that I've posted, you see me using this one pretty often. In fact, this is the one that I'm kind of keeping in my pickup. It's the Handing Magic L rod. Let's see, let me shift over again. Okay, it's the Handing Magic L rod right here. This one comes in at 4.5 feet, and I tend to cast side cast when I'm using these ultralight bait casters. I do have a longer one. It's the same rod model, but it's a 6-foot variant. And that's done well for me as well. It's just that when I'm side casting, I tend to kind of sweep things behind me, be it bushes or sometimes in a sloped bank. I may hook in there and end up getting a backlash. So that's why I kind of tend to go to the 4.5 foot. But before I go further, let's take a little sippy sip. All right. So with that, I just want to just kind of open things up. If anyone has any questions, maybe some basically a Q&A impromptu session. I just wanted to get everyone together here tonight before I hit the next live stream. And what I've been doing is I take my phone, I put it on a simple setup that goes around my neck, and I just start fishing. And some days I get some good stuff, other days not so good stuff. It's been hit or miss in some cases. And this last one I had to cut it short because it was 100+ degree temperatures out there, and well, my phone died on me. It just kind of overheated, so I had to go back to the pickup, let it cool down a little bit, and close out the live stream, just let you know how everything went with that particular situation. All right, but with that, let's see. One of the key things that I liked about the Scorpion BFSXG ultralight bait caster right here is its braking system. This one has a more sensitive one that I can adjust more readily compared to some of the other ones that I've used. Been happy with this one. You can see I beat it up pretty much. And before, this is one that I picked up years ago that was getting, I think it was on the edge of when ultralight bait casting started going from some exorbitant prices to some more reasonable prices. And I got this one on sale, luckily. And I've been happy with this one, especially with the seal bearings and being able to go out there and catch a fish in salt water in some cases. All right, so take a look at some of the videos I've posted in the past where I have fished saltwater with this baby right here. All right, and then for the rod, this is the Berkley Lightning rod. Okay, I don't know if they actually make this model anymore. It's one that I picked up years ago. I think I told this story on one of the live streams where they had come out with a new line, some trilene, I think it was, Berkley trilene, and if you bought a couple of spools, you pay for shipping and handling, they would ship you one of these rods. And this little 4.5 foot rod has been a fun one over the years. I originally had one of your old Ambassador bait casters, the red round reel, the ones made in Sweden, and that one has done well. In fact, I think I still have them right here in a little cabinet. Bear with me real quick. Let me see if I can grab them. got a couple of these right here. Let me shift over. Okay, let's see if I can give you a better view of it. So this is the one that they made in Sweden. And back then I was picking up stuff in pairs. So if I bought one thing, I would usually pick up a second one. Is that a BFS rod? Which one? The one that I just mentioned right over here. I think there's like a little delay. Okay, this one, the Handing Magic L right here. This one I would consider a BFS rod. All right, it's got a 1mm tip. It's the one that I use for lightning rods. The Berkeley lightning rod, I wouldn't consider it a BFS rod, but I've been using it as such, and it's been doing really well for me. It's a 40-year-old rod, 1986. Yeah, 1986 I bought this thing for free. I got it for a rebate for buying 2 spools of trilene line. And just to give you the rating on there, let's see. It says, forgot where I put it on here now. Oh, here we go. It's designed for 1/8 to 3/8 ounce. It's 4.5 foot. It's got a real good fast action. I've been able to cast these 1/16 ounce rooster tails, no problem. It's before BFS was a thing, but bottom line, I found that this has been works really well with the different rods, or correction, different reels that I've used for this. Worked well on the Shimano BFS. It's also worked well on the Casking Zephyrs. Of the Casking Zephyrs, that was the first one that I got, and I can't remember now. I think maybe 2-3 years ago I picked these up, and right here, these are the ones that first got me into BFS fishing, because the price was in my price range. It was under $100. It was like 60, 70 bucks back then. I think you can get them for like 60 bucks now. One with the reel clicker, one without the reel clicker. I did some modifications to it, to one of them where I put some high spool speed bearings, and that allowed me to go from 1/16 ounce to maybe a 1/24 ounce lure, no problem. And then you can see I have this one on a short rod, mainly just for the sake of being able to run out of the pickup on the way on the commute home and being able to do some fishing and whatnot. So if I see a particular location I like to fish, or see that looks fishy, I definitely would fish it. Let's see. Whoa, that's cool, beautiful. Okay, cool. All right, thanks, Hanaro. What is your favorite fish to catch, Asher Agan? For freshwater, there's, I guess favorite would be trout, rainbow trout. But I do have a likeness for striped bass. They are really fun. But day in, day out, bluegill, bass. But from a freshwater standpoint, yeah, I would say trout. From a saltwater standpoint, I like anything basically that's out there. But I have been having some fun with the catching a shark or two. All right, let's see, Asher Agan. Mine is walleye. All right, excellent, walleye. I've not caught a walleye. There is a lake in it's called Thunderbird Lake up in Norman, Oklahoma, just up the road from us here in Texas. I'm here in Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they stock a fish called a saugai. So it's a cross between a sauger and a walleye. And there's a size limit in that particular lake, but my fishing buddy caught one. We're still trying to catch one that's keepable, or so we can do a catch and cook. But rumor has it that the saugai is a very tasty fish. I believe the walleye also probably is a tasty one as well. I wonder, is it as tasty as a crappie? I like crappie, and definitely like crappie. So I wonder if a walleye is along those lines as well. All right, Xander are also fun. Okay, Xander. Right. Thanks for that, Asher Agan. All right, so I appreciate you guys joining tonight. I got time right now. We're just kind of fishing ramblings. I want to talk about some ultralight bait casting, but as I always do on these podcasts and discussions, I just kind of open up things to whatever the team would like to talk about. Walleye is the best tasting fish I have had. Outstanding. I heard that from a fishing guide that he's in New Mexico now, but he said that walleye was pretty good. Also heard that there's some pretty good fighting fish as well. Do you fish for them casting, or I think I see a lot of times where they're either jigging or they're trolling for them. Some of the old fishing shows I used to watch when I was growing up. All right, and then I've kind of set things up. I'm kind of doing like a little dry run when I do a Amazon live stream where I'm doing a product review. I've kind of set up things to where I can shift cameras. So I've got a camera up here, got a camera over here, and then I've got 2 more ports to add another camera. In fact, there's going to be one that I will put right here. And what I do is I'll put a little GoPro and I'll put my fly tying vise right here, and I'll do a demo of the fly that I'm tying, as well as give you some close-ups, because with that GoPro, it's got that autofocus. I can just put my hand right in front of it, or the gear that I'm showing, and get you a good view of it. Versus right here, you know, I got the A-roll shot where I can talk to you, but the focus here is manual. So I've got to come in here and do this, because this is an old T2I Rebel that I picked up. You know, rather spend money on fishing gear than camera gear, if you know what I mean. Hint, 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 hint. Okay, yes, with swim baits. Excellent. Swim baits, yeah. I've been using swim baits for the striped bass over the years up at Lake Texoma, and that's been pretty fun. Guarantee that's probably a pretty good deal. They're catching a walleye or two, huh? I think I remember watching that movie, Top Secret, and there was one. It's like a parody on Top Gun, and there's one individual who's a pilot, and they called him Walleye Vision because he got these real thick bottle cap or bottle glasses or whatever, and he can't see hardly anything, and he sees walleye vision. I'm digressing. Anyhow, you guys have any other questions, comments? Let's talk fishing. I'm open right now. And if not, well, I'll have a little brewski. Yeah, I picked this one up at the local HEB. It's a grocery store here in Texas, and this is from the Shiner Beer Company. Hazy IPA Tex-Mex. Comes in 8%. I was pretty happy with that. Anyhow, let's talk fishing. I am making some preps for the run up to the coast, or down to the coast. We're going to be making the run to the Galveston fishing piers, and it's an annual run that my fishing buddy and I do. I think we've done it pretty much straight, except for during the COVID year. Made a run to catch some of the fish over there on the various piers and jetties that they have there. And each year we tend to get better and better, I guess, at catching some fish. We've gotten some bull reds, some of the big uglies, the black drum. Got some sharks as well. Largest one my fishing buddy got 2 seasons ago, about a 5-footer, black tip. And then we got some pretty nice bull reds. Let me think, 43, 44-inch size, and those are fun. And we hope to be doing that again here shortly. There is a hurricane, though, that's brewing out there, or at least it's more on the Atlantic coast right now, but my day job has me tied up with kind of monitoring things in support of some of the things that I do. All right. Anything else fishing-wise? Just to recap again, the gear that I was talking about here. All right, we'll start out with the BFS Zephyr, Casting Zephyr reels. This is the one that first got me hooked, courtesy of a subscriber. He suggested, have I ever heard of BFS fishing, bait finesse systems fishing? I said no, I looked it up, did a real quick look up on Google, and back then when I was looking at those results, the reels back then were going like 400, 500, 600 bucks from overseas in Japan and whatnot, and that definitely put it out of my price range. And then I heard about the Cascade Zephyr, got started there. One of the main things that is strongly suggested when it comes to the casting is right here. You need to don't put as much line here. Start out with maybe 50 turns of line. That lightens the spool, gives you a little, I guess, leeway in when you're casting, so that you can cast lighter lures. You put more line, it'll just make the spool heavier and make it a little bit harder for you to educate your thumb and get it ready. But once you have your thumb educated, you can add some more line on there, and then at that point, just cast away. I find that about 1/16 ounce rooster tails, Mets, Anglia, pretty much inline spinners has been the go-to deal there. When it comes to the Cascade Zephyr, I am finding that the Featherflight Kingfisher right here, this one, it can cast trout magnets, 1 gram trout magnets out the box. Just educate your thumb a little bit here, put some 2-pound test line so that it makes it, I guess, more lighter, I guess, when when you're casting. And hey, I've done pretty well with this one so far. I've been having some real fun. I think my last couple of live streams, Ultralight Baitcasting, was with this particular outfit. I do have that 6-foot rod versus a 4.5-foot rod. I suggest the 4.5, mainly because I do a lot of side casting when I'm ultralight bait casting or using these type of rods and reels. Another thing that I had mentioned was that Berkeley Lightning rod that I picked up years ago, part of a rebate with the Triling rod or Triling reel. This one right here. It's rated for 1/8 to 3/8 ounce, but I've done well with it with 1/16 ounce rooster tails as well. And it's got a fast action rod tip that not had any issues with it. One thing to take note is if you are going with those lighter lures, the big check is if it has a 1mm rod tip. And so this is here, just a comparison. Okay, this is the Berkeley Lightning rod. You can see how thick that is. That's the rod tip. And then this is the Handing Magic L, and look how thin that is right there. And that does help, gives me a little bit more control in casting those little trout magnets. And then on top of that, being that I do like this using inline spinners, I do have a tool that I use to make my own inline spinners. Let me grab it real quick. Bear with me. Okay, here it is. This is one of those Twist Tech right here. Twist Tech. I don't know what I guess wire former or whatnot right here. And this is what I use to make my own inline spinners here. And I mounted it on this little simple cobalt drawer deal with a hood thing here. And it's pretty heavy. And what's nice is I can lay it down right here and move it. It's portable, and pretty much I can create an inline spinner on the fly. So there's been times where I'm trying to kind of mix things up and I want to try a different lure, maybe a different concept. This has been a little game changer for me, and just kind of customizing my own gear, because a lot of times you may not be able to get a particular rod or correction lure that you want to try fishing. Maybe you want to just make one on the fly and give that a try. So yeah, this is it right here. All right, they do make some other ones from, I think, Jan's Netcraft. I picked this one up way back when. Can't remember, but I picked it up and I've been happy. It's been pretty fun for me. All right. All right. Any other talks of ultralight bait casting, fishing in general, and whatnot? I do have a lot of gear. Let's see if I can. Right behind me, you probably might see. Right in the distance, you might see behind me. Yeah, right down there. Right there. It's a bunch of fly rods. Above us, some more rods. Over there. Up there. I got a bunch. Anyhow, it's not that you need a bunch of gear to go fishing. The bottom line is you got to go fishing. Someone asked me the other day, what's the best time to go fishing? And it's anytime you can. And then I think I said it on one of the live streams while I was out there in the field fishing. One of the mobile fishing live streams is an old timer hit me up one day when he saw me fishing and mentioned that I was doing too many false casting when I was out there fly fishing. And what he was suggesting is instead of doing a whole bunch of false casts, you end up casting about the same distance anyways. He suggested just pick up once and cast. So one back cast, a forward cast, and be done with it and start fishing. So what he was alluding to was you are not going to catch a fish if your fly is in the air casting about. It needs to be on the water. And you will increase your chances of catching a fish or two by doing so. And so with that, I heed that fishing tip over the years, and I try to minimize my false casts. In fact, when it comes to fly fishing, I will pretty much do one back cast and a forward cast and leave it at that, and just keep fishing. So more time that fly is in the water, same is more chance of catching a fish. Well, that's the same holds true with anything, be it bait casting, any other type of fishing. As long as your hook with a line and whatnot's in the water, you have increased your chances of catching a fish. So, yeah, try giving that a try. And then the other thing again is best time to go fishing is when you can. All right. Okay. Any other questions? I am open. I did mention one again. Got the ultralight bait casters. I've been really hooked on that one ever since I learned about this fun piece. And then with that, do stay tuned. I do plan going back out there with another mobile fishing live stream. I'm probably going to go back out there with the Flight Feather Kingfisher. Okay, this one right here with the trout magnet. That one's in the that one's in the queue. Just got to do it now. The other day when I went, things got stopped short because of the phone overheating. It was 100+ degrees. In fact, I think tomorrow we're supposed to hit 104, so it's gonna be another hot one. And then I did talk briefly about the old what was it, Abu Garcia Ambassador round reel that I used to keep on that lightning rod. This is the one that was made in Sweden. I don't know if you can get these anymore. This is 50+ years old, and I don't use it as much, mainly because I like using those ultralights. But anyways, I still have it in the queue. It's ready to go. Or I might let my son or my grandson play with it later when my grandson gets bigger. Anyhow, bottom line, he'll be able to pick anything that I got in here. It's fair game. All right. Anything else? We talked earlier, some call outs with some of the folks that were on the chat. Let's see, Hanaro Morolo, he was there earlier. Asher Agan had some good, cool things talking about walleye. Anyone else out there? Just, say howdy, howdy. Peyton Short. Hi, Peyton. How's it going? Hope things are going well for you on a fishing front. Have any questions on fishing, possibly? Let's see. I thought I saw something. Just moved again. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's see. What about fly fishing? Any of you guys do any fly fishing out there? Right now, it's August. We'll shift over to September here in a short while. I do start getting that bug to make a run up to one of the year-round fisheries up in Oklahoma, be it Lower Illinois River up by Gore, Oklahoma, or the Lower Mountain Fork, the state park at Beaver's Bend. There's some good stuff out there. No questions. Okay, well, thanks for joining, though. Kind of opening up the floor to any questions. Again, we initially started ultralight bait casting and discussing ultralight bait casting, but I did shift over to other things that we were discussing. Additionally, I did post a catch and cook video. That one, I was pleasantly surprised with the recipe that I put together. One was a simple one for some white bass and crappie. One of the things I learned from an individual over the years, I've been catching these white bass, and I made the mistake of not cutting out the dark meat on the sides along the lateral line. I kept that on there over the years, and that gave it a stronger fishy taste, and cutting that piece off made a difference. What do you like fishing for? Freshwater in the winter, rainbow trout, brown trout. Summertime, white bass and crappie, trolling or bottom bouncing in a kayak, striped bass as well, be it in a kayak or fishing a tail race, specifically Lake Texoma, the Denison Dam in our area, or making the run west to Possum Kingdom, hitting that tail race. There's some good striped bass opportunity there. And then I heard maybe sneak away to, I think Tawakoni is another one to keep an eye out for that has some opportunity for some striped bass. Saltwater, pretty much anything in saltwater, but I do have an affinity for fishing under the lights for speckled trout and sand trout, be it with tandem rigs, the spec rigs, or some live shrimp under some popping corks. That is fun under the lights. And then, of course, redfish. You gotta love redfish. Two reasons: they're fun to catch, and they are very tasty. Especially if they've been eating blue crab, they start getting that blue crab taste. I did last year. We hit the coast over there in Rockport, Texas, Copano Bay, and able to get a little Airbnb that was right on the bay that had our own fishing pier, and I was able to fish there and caught a whole bunch of blue crab, and that was pretty good. Do you like soft plastic or live bait? Let's see. Live bait's good. You can't beat live bait. It really depends on what I'm fishing for. When I'm targeting catfish, I like using live bait or shad. One, because I can take my cast net to the local boat ramp and get my bait there. When it comes to soft baits, I have a really, really strong affinity for the Gary Yamamoto Senkos. Normally when I was fishing plastics over the years, it was hit or miss, but as soon as I got a hold of one of those Senkos, casting it out there, kind of letting it either weedless Texas rig or wacky rig, my bass catch rate just went out the door. It was awesome. So I do like the Senkos. I have used other plastics, but I do tend toward the Senkos. I did get the plastic bug several years ago. In fact, I still have the gear to pour my own plastics. So a lot of times I'll just reuse some of the plastic worms that I have and just remelt them, and then just go make another another set again. When it comes to plastics or hard baits, crankbaits, there are two that I definitely like using, and the reason being, there's a neutral buoyancy one, the Rapala X-Wrap, as well as some of the Husky Jerk Rapala. I like the neutral buoyancy, so you can cast it out there and kind of do this twitchy retrieve, and then it'll just kind of sit in wherever the water level you stopped, and that will trigger or elicit a strike. That's pretty good. I like that. And then I like the rattle trap. Why? Because if you're going from place to place in a kayak, one of the best things to do is just throw that thing over the side and just troll it behind you, and do some fishing while you're going from point to point or place to place. And you'll be surprised what likes to hit a rattle trap when you're out there trolling it on a particular lake. Do you like bait casters? I do like bait casters. I tend to like the ultralight bait casting in general, but I do have my other bait casting reels and whatnot, to include this old Abu Garcia. Let me think. I do have spinning rods, the whole bit, but I'll either go from bait casting, switching back to fly fishing, and then back to bait casting. Just depends on what's out there. What are your favorite master baiting techniques? What baits do you like to use? Bottom line, when it comes to baits, I like using shad in fresh water. One, it's cheap for me because I'll just take out my cast net and it's free. I just go to the boat ramp and start casting for them, and I'm ready to go. And then for salt water, well, we usually, when we're fishing salt water, we're using fish bites. It's a little like gum-like bait that we use to catch other fish that we use for bait. So we'll be catching these little whiting, croakers, smaller fish, and then we'll cut them up or fish them live and try getting bigger fish. And what ends up happening is we'll get some big, good-sized bull reds, bigger fish, stingrays, sharks, all starting with that little fish bait. Let's see. Make my own bait. Yes, I do. Meaning lures, yeah. And then I also have several recipes for dough baits. There's one that I use with, it's got a little vanilla mixed into it. I think I did a video on that. And then there's some gummy gums is what I call them. So it's one that's made out of gelatin. I've used that. I got some underwater video, submerged videos, things out there just showing how the fish react to them, and it's done pretty good. All right. Any tips on using clousers at Denison Dam? Axle. Okay. The main thing that I noticed with Denison Dam and using clousers, I kind of like having the clouser, the traditional clouser, the one that's made with deer hair. And then I'll also have another one that's made with craft fur. All right, it rides a little bit higher in the water column than the clouser, the traditional clouser with the deer hair. And then I also like having, it's called the Bennett's Lunch. So it's a very furry, fluffy, thick-bodied fly, but when it gets wet, it makes a nice fish shape. I like that one. And then there's another one that I picked up in Green, New Braunfels, Texas, that I don't know what it's called, but that one seems to get the most strikes when I'm up at Denison Dam fishing, fly fishing between the generation schedules. Big thing that I noticed is when you are fishing them, I'll first start out with just a short retrieve, short pulls, and then I'll either pick up the speed or make some adjustments from there, maybe even a stop and go retrieve until I figure out that pattern. And it's really hit or miss. Sometimes they just want movement. Other times they want it sinking. It's really changes each time I've gone out there. What's the best type of bait to use in August? Ooh, I'm not sure. Trying to remember when the lake turns over. I think that's going to be later in September, October, when everything gets milky. But August, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty much based on whatever the bait is out there. If they're feeding on the glass minnows or the ghost minnows, then you want a more thinner silhouette of a lure. If it's the shad that they're feeding on, the little fatter bodied one. What I've done in past trips is, as I catch one, I'll see if I can see what they're eating. Maybe take out the little pump that I use for trout fishing, or maybe clean one and see if I can see what is in their gullet, and get an idea of what might be biting or what they may be eating. And then let's see. I guess when it comes to August, it's gonna really depend on where you're at. Because let's see, I'm trying to remember over the years, August time frame, West Coast fishing for surf perch and whatnot. That one was like sand fleas. You just go over there and go to the beach and just pull them up with a little shovel and whatnot. What's your biggest fish? Stingray, 4 or 5 foot width wingspan. We hooked into them last year. That was the biggest one. Other than that, if you look at some of the Galveston fishing videos that we posted, you can see some of the bigger fish we've caught, mainly the bull reds and whatnot. 43, 44 inch bull reds. Let me think. And then on freshwater, we did get a 38 inch, 30 something inch catfish one year, jug lining. Not really been keeping track. I'm still in the quantity, not quality phase. You know, different phases when it comes to hunting and fishing. You start out with, I just want to catch one. And then the quantity phase where I just want to catch a whole bunch. And then later on you get to that, you know, you're the like a master at it, and you're just the best, the pro, and you want the quality. Well, I've never got there. I'm still in that quantity phase. I like a bunch of them. And it doesn't matter how big or small, and as long as they're on the end of my line. And it's like they say, the tug is the drug. Let's see, I subscribed. All right, thanks, Satan, for subscribing. Appreciate it. Always good to have a new subscriber, and hopefully I keep you subscribed. I've been posting a lot of videos, mainly the dad jokes, some fishing tips, some real quick shorts and whatnot. I am working on the kayak fishing one from this last weekend, where I only caught 2, as well as I caught a gar. I've got that video I'm putting together. It'll be more of a long form video that I'll get posted here, but it'll give you a good idea of well, some of the action there. I'll cut out the slow stuff, but yeah, had several hook sets where they ran with it. I suspect they were gar, because what I noticed when a gar strikes when you're jug lining is you'll see the initial strike with your jug, and it'll shake, and they'll even run with it, and then they'll stop. And when they stop, that's when you should wait and let them hit it again. And I always just go ahead and check it, because I don't really want to catch a gar when I'm jug lining. I'm aiming for catfish. All right. I got a 10-pound bass. Nice. That's very good. 10-pound bass. All right. Like to hear that. Double digits. Cool beans. But in that kayak fishing video, I do have, let's see, some footage of where I am catching a gar, and I was able to release him. It wasn't a big one. Maybe, let's see, maybe maybe that big. All right. What else you guys got for me? Just kind of like a little chill session here. Let me go and kick my feet up. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying this live streaming setup that I have. I've got this old Rebel camera up over here, T2i. For a little close-up shot. Got a little camera up here just to give a little wider view. And then when I do my fly tying ones, I'll put a camera right here, little Hero 5, and go from there. I think you're a good fisherman. Oh, thanks. I'm still in that quantity phase. I like to catch a bunch. All right. Well, how about y'all? What do you guys got for me? Maybe you got some tips. I'm always open to any new tips and whatnot. I definitely surf the YouTube channels and pay attention to what's out there, give me an idea of maybe some trends and whatnot. I do see a lot of stuff. I forgot what it's called now. It's a particular. It's a technique where you're fishing ultralight again, ultralight bait casting, but it's using these lures where it's more of a lure that you don't really move too much. You just kind of cast it and kind of twitch, I guess, and just let it move slowly. I don't know what it's called though, but I'm gonna have to try it. But with these trout magnets, been really happy with that. 1 gram trout magnet. Let's see right here. And a lot of times, like the gear that I get is typically usually on sale. Yeah, usually I pick up a sale on that. Or if I have a bunch of gift cards, I'll use up the gift cards on that. But this Handing Magic L, it's a fun rod. I've got the 6 foot and the 4.5. I do prefer the 4.5 when I'm ultralight bait casting. The 6 foot, I may try that one out when I'm fishing maybe a larger river or whatnot. But this one's pretty good. And this is the Flight Feather Kingfisher, right? And there's a lot of people either hate them or don't like them. The color really throws things off. I have to agree. The color, it's supposed to be the color scheme of a kingfisher bird. It doesn't have a reel clicker. The brakes are a little tweaky, but I've got them figured out. Like right now, when I'm fishing trout bandits, I'll start at 17 and maybe shift to 24, make some adjustments on the spool tension and see where that takes me. But what I heard is the Cormorant. It's a newer model of this that has a reel clicker and apparently some better brakes and whatnot. That it's not as twitchy as this one is. But I mainly got this one because I heard you can cast 1 gram trout magnets with it, and I wanted it to see if I could, and sure enough, it does. And so here, let's go shift over right here. There, let's get you a view of the 1 gram trout magnet. Right, it's got a jig head that's more of a shad dart look. Okay, right there. And it comes in this one's black. There's also silver and gold, and there's a whole bunch of different colors and whatnot that you can pick from out of the kit that I got. And I'm having fun with it. I'm surprised at how many of the fingerling bass that I was catching the other day, as well as some of the little fingerling bluegill that were nipping at it. I mean, they definitely wanted, but I used it for stocker trout, and beginning of this year, limited out with 5 here in Texas. The limit's 5, and had a great time fishing for them there. It was fun. These little ultralight rods just make the fish feel that much bigger. See, do you make your own bait? Yes, I do. Be it the grocery store, dough baits and whatnot, gelatins and whatnot, as well as my own lures. Yeah, I'll do that. You know, if you're gonna jump into fishing, you gotta do everything. You know, you gotta learn what works. Oh, and never throw away anything. All right, so I have a bunch of rods. Some of them are broken. Some of them I just reuse, repurpose. Let me see. Let me show you a classic repurposed one. Okay, bear with me. All right. Okay, as I was saying, don't throw away anything when it comes to fishing, even if it breaks, because you can always reuse it. So what I'm showing you here is the top two sections of an old 8-weight fly rod. I was using an 8-weight fly rod coming back from Denison Dam, fishing for some striped bass, and on the way home, decided to go stop at McDonald's for a little bite, and opened the door, got out the door or out the car and slammed it, and next thing I know I heard something crack, and it was my 8-weight fly rod slammed against the door. The lower section fell out and bam, it broke. And I just put it aside for the years, and then after a while I heard something about making these micro fly rods, and I looked online and they wanted something upwards of like 100, 200 bucks for these things. And I was like, well, let me see what these things look like. And sure enough, I was like, hey, that looks like a little top section of my broken 8-weight fly rod. And with that, I said, well, all I need is a little reel. So I got one of these things. I got this one. Company went out of business, but they offered this particular reel, and this is a section of a Pen P-E-N fishing rod, and all I did was repurpose the handle, flipped it around, and attach it here. This is just some tape, handle tape for tennis. This is the bottom of a cork, of a wine cork. I just jammed it in there, and then I put the running line of an old 5-weight fly rod or fly line, put it on here. And I use this one as a micro fly fishing rod. And over the years, I've had some pretty fun catching some little bluegill, bass, and whatnot, as well as I've got a decent catfish with this thing. I was surprised. this thing could handle it. But yeah, so yeah, you get into fishing, don't throw away anything. Keep it all, because there's been times where something I need another rod guide, I need to fix something. Yeah, I'll just take it from another rod and whatnot, rebuild it. Other times, there's some certain components of it. And other times, yeah, eventually I'll use it all up, and next thing you know, I'll just kind of cast it aside. I make my own fishing rods. All right, nice. I've made some. In fact, there's one up here I made with some wine cork handles and some tomato stake, bamboo stake rods for tomato plants. I heard that you could make one, use that, and I tried it and it worked. In fact, I think I've got another one here. Oh, yeah. This is one that I made when I took some ice fishing blank, wine corks, and a reel seat that's just I think it's made from Fuji, where you just use it to just lock in your reel. Let me grab that one real quick. All right. Okay, this one is an ice fishing rod blank. I add some rod guides to it, little snake guide, as well as a guide tip or rod guide. And then crappie reel, B&M crappie reel, and a little reel seat. Let me shift over here. Let me get you a better view of it. Yeah, right there. Okay. And this is some wine corks. I used a clamp to hold it in place, and I use this one as well. And it's pretty fun. I've caught some fish with this one. All right. You make your own reels too. Nice. I got a 3D printer back there, and I was thinking of making a 3D fishing reel with it. But I've been sidetracked right now making some 3D lures. So, oh well. Let's see. I did repurpose an Orvis Practicaster and made a micro fly rod with it. Let me grab that one real quick. Okay, I'm back. All right, here's an Orvis Practicaster right here. This is one that you use to practice fly rod, fly casting and whatnot. Very thin, very whippy. All right. What I do is I'll zip tie a fly reel, and I just start using it as a micro fly rod. And yeah, I got some videos on this, as well as some videos on some other micro fly rods that I put together over the years, and I've been pretty happy with it so far. Right now I'm just using, as it's truly meant for, was to practice fly casting. You gotta keep your game up, you know, because hey, you never know when you'll be out there fishing, and you need to be catching a fish or two that way. Okay, what else? We were talking ultralight bait casting. We were talking some different fly rods, fly reels. Briefly on the Abu Garcia deal here, round reel, classic reel from way back when. I think that was back when everyone was using Johnson minnows on the flats over there, where I grew up over there in the Port Aransas coast, or by Port Aransas on the Texas coast. Can you see the red reels? Can you see the red reels? Oh, you want to see the red reels? Okay. Right here. This is like, I can't remember when I got it. Sometime in the 80s. You can tell it's the one from Sweden because it's got the dealie here, and it says it's from Sweden. I got a second one in there as well, and these are pretty fun. It's got the centrifugal brakes, so you can adjust it by moving the little centerpiece inside. I pretty much leave them as is. I mainly use this for fishing ponds, as well as when I'm on the coast. When I was wade fishing for reds and speckled trout over there by the oyster beds, this is pretty much what I used with an old, oh man, it was a solid fiberglass rod back then, and Johnson minnows, and be it silver and gold, and that's all we do is just kind of put on some tennis shoes and shorts and wade the flats and just kind of cast in front of you and catch a fish or two. All right, so there's this one. I can grab the other one real quick. Just let me put this thing up. All right, and here's the other one. Okay. Got two of them. right there. 2. All right. So I got this one and this one at the same time. Ordered from Bass Pro online when you still had to fill out the order form. And yeah, I've been happy with these two. Just now I pretty much retired them. All right. Any other questions? Requests? Do you have any requests? Maybe some idea on maybe some of the upcoming mobile fishing live streams that we're surely going to try. I am going to go back out there with the trout magnet and the ultralight gear. Also have on the books. I'll probably put another inline spinner together. Make some adjustments there. The one where I took the inline spinner and added I think it was like a size 6 bait hook. Bear with me real quick. And some Bass Assassin lures and put it on there. That one worked really nice. I was surprised. 2 reasons. One, I could still get some pretty decent bites just letting it sink. And that little Bass Assassin little lure deal did really well. I think I got it right here. Right here. Right there. That's the Bass Assassin right there. Got that little thin tail deal. And I was surprised that put it on inline spinner, little single bait hook on there, and it did really well. And made some adjustments there. I also, this Z-Man Dead Rig, that one I was really impressed with. Let's see if I can find it. Oh man, I don't have them. I just have the jig heads right here. The Z-Man right here. Right, but it comes with this, I think they call it the TRD pumpkin Ned rig or something. And yeah, I liked it because you could beat it up. And I think in the video, I'm actually pulling apart, stretching it, and triple, quadruple its length, and it did not bust. When's the best time to go fishing? Well, my rule of thumb is when you can. So if you can go fishing, just go for it. But depending on the time of year, you'll just have to play it by ear. Like this time of year, in the heat of the day, you may get a few fish, but it's probably best to go early morning or later evening. If you do fish midday, kind of target the shadowy areas, tree lines or shadow lines and whatnot, the banks and whatnot. But this time of year, best time to go fishing is early morning, later evening. All right, just because one, they'll be feeding as well as more active at times. When it's really hot, they tend to go deeper. The last time I went when my mobile live stream had to be cut short when my phone overheated, I was getting most of the hits by casting far into the pond and doing an 8 count delay before I started retrieving. And what that told me is the fish were just deeper that time of day, really hot like that. So yeah, best time right now, it's basically the summer pattern is what I call it. Early morning, later evening. If you are fishing a particular location, aka like Denison Dam or Tail Race, best thing to do is look at the generation schedule, and then depending on what they're doing, if they are generating and there's some water flow or releasing water, you'll make that adjustment and fish the faster water flow. If they're not generating, it's between generation schedules, then you'll work the different pools and whatnot, and you can kind of go from pool to pool or run to run and see if you can catch anything that way in those different locations. I tend to, when it's fly fishing time or when it's generation schedule time, I'll tend to bring my fly rod, my switch rod, just because I can cast a little bit further with that switch rod setup. All right. Any other questions? Still got a word? Ooh, wow, it's been an hour. Ooh, wow. Oh man. I hope you guys can stay on. I still have a little bit left of my brewski here. Yeah. Anyhow, what else you got for me? I hope this is helpful. All right. Let's see. Well, let's see. Any of you guys have a YouTube channel? Any suggestions there? I'm always looking out for different new fishing things, fishing related things, and there's been a couple that I've been following over the years, and then there's been a few that some are more gimmicky than others, but there's ones that I really like, and what I like about them, there's two reasons why you go on YouTube. One is entertaining and entertainment videos, and the other one is more of a uh, educational or at least training tips and whatnot. So you're going there to search for information, or you're going there to be entertained. And fishing channels where I'm searching for info is where I tend to, versus the other way, being entertained. I'd rather, instead of watching someone fish, I'd rather be fishing myself. That's why when I'm doing these mobile fishing live streams, I'm also talking a lot more because I'm also simulcasting it, later reposting it as an audio podcast. And by being able to describe what I'm doing, one, I'm keeping the audience engaged. Plus, I'm kind of hopefully visualizing for those that are listening on the audio podcast what I'm doing. And the key thing is, hey, that's the motto of the channel. Average Joes learn to fish by our trials and errors, because yours truly is not an expert. I am just an avid fisherman who has learned a lot through trial and error. So you have a pet catfish in bass. Oh, okay. Nice. All right. Yeah, I used to have a little pond over there in the back that I kept some goldfish and some koi, but I didn't put any bass or anything in it. All right. Let me think. For some upcoming things, the run to the coast, really excited there. Over the course of the next few weeks, I'll do some preps. This round, we're going to shift over. Normally, we're bringing some boat rods as well as some surf casting gear. This time, we're going straight boat rods. We're finding that having that shorter rod, but more backbone into it, is giving us a little more leverage when we're catching some of those bigger ones. In fact, the one that I as well as my fishing buddy have caught some bigger fish on was the Penn Squall setup that I have here, which is surprisingly cast a good distance, regardless of the being such a short rod. Let me grab one real quick. All right, I know we were talking ultralight bait casting, but hey, we're talking fishing too. So this is the setup that I use when I'm fishing the piers. There is a 10-foot size limit, and so I've got some 12-foot rods. I got some 10-foot rods. We've been bringing the 10-footers, but we're noticing that having the shorter rod seems to help when we're bringing in some of the bigger ones. So what I have here is the Mariner 2, Penn Mariner 2. Let me shift over here. Penn Mariner 2 right here. Okay. And it's a 6-foot rod. And I've got the Penn Squall 15. Yeah, Penn Squall 15 reel. It's not a level one. So you've got to use your thumb to line or retrieve your line. When you're retrieving the line, you've got to use your thumb to put it back on there. All right, some folks don't like it. I'm used to it, having to fish the different party boats and whatnot on the West Coast over there, San Diego, Monterey area over the years, way back. That's where I kind of picked up the thumb deal here. Also, we'll take this Penn Squall shifted over to a 12-foot surf rod up here, put a 3-ounce, 4-ounce weight on it, and I'll cast it for distance on a point at our local lake and reel it back in and set up a tandem rig, 4 or 5 crappie jigs, sabiki rigs, sabiki flies and whatnot, and use it to catch some white bass there when I don't want to go kayak fishing, but I feel like practicing casting. This, I believe, was a replacement for the old Penn 525 reel, and this one is a surprising one that when I cast it out, a lot of times I'll come close to spooling it when I got the right combo on here. And I'm surprised how far I can cast this thing with a little 6-footer rod, and it's worked great fishing the piers, especially over there at Galveston. And I do like the thicker grip handle here, and it does have a real clicker capacity. And overall, it's I think I had to do one little tweak to repair it one time because there was some grease or whatnot that I needed to do. But other than that, I beat these up. Pretty much just use them, wash them off, do a little oiling here and there. But day in, day out, this thing has been a game changer for me when it comes to catching some of those fish off those piers. Additionally, I use the Trilene Big Game mono, and let's see, let me shift here. You can see here, this is the Solar Green High Vis line right here. And what's nice about this is it is definitely high vis. When you're out there fishing the pier, you can see your line and where it's tending. Also, you can sense when you're getting a bite because you can see your line reacting to that strike. Just having that high vis line has helped me with my hookup rates and whatnot. Fish at least the saltwater end. All right. All right. Any other questions? We're talking ultralight bait casting. Shift over to some different fly fishing things. Now we're just talking about the Penn Squall and some Galveston fishing pier fishing and some setups there. Some preps that I'll be doing over the course of the next few weeks here is I'll set up some shark rigs where I use weed eater line and some crimps. Make my own leader setup because this one year we went down there and purchased the commercial one that you pick up at the different bait stores and tackle shops, and lo and behold, dropped 10-15 bucks on a rig. And it turns out I can make a bunch pretty much myself using some components that I can pick up at a decent rate. What's your favorite fish to eat? Let's see. I like striped bass when it comes to freshwater, and I do like crappie. I think crappie's the best tasting, but I haven't had a walleye. And then saltwater, I like redfish, and especially if they've been feeding on blue crab because they start getting that blue crab taste. Yeah, I like them. But hey, you can't beat a good pompano. Ooh, you get one of those broiled. Yeah, those are pretty good too. All right. Yeah, good question. Good question. What's your favorite fish to eat? Thanks, Peyton. All right. Any other questions? I know it's kind of getting late here. Over here, it's about 10:44, 10:45 Central here in Texas, and yeah, I can talk fishing for a while. Just well, maybe need to wind things down here in a little bit, unless you guys have some more things you want to talk about. Let's see. Let me go put this up real quick. All right, before we go, oh, catfish. Yeah, catfish are good too. Yeah. Try that one recipe that I posted just a couple of days ago. It's the what was it? Spicy Thai curry sauce that you can put on a catfish laid on a bed of rice. That one turned out really good. You can make it spicy as you want, or you can make it a little bit milder, but I do like it. Okay, so this one it's an M rod. Okay, I've got several of these, in fact. One is used for kayak fishing, and it has your normal rod reel setup. I don't have it on me right now, but it's one that I use for kayak fishing. I mainly put some braided line on there, a spinning reel, and I use it to cast my water wolf camera, so I can cast it out there and not worry about it breaking off because it's some pretty strong braid, so I can do some underwater fishing, or at least underwater video. This one is their fly rod right here. So it's got a fly rod seat. It's got this little coil setup, I think a 6-coil setup, and you can use it to cast flies. It's indestructible. They call it a bayonet tip, where you can pull this out right here and you're ready to go. These are interchangeable, so I've taken the same rod tip that I used for the kayak fishing one and applied it to that. Ooh, let's see if I got this right. Yeah, and then I switched them out and put a different one on there. Here we go. There we go. All right. So these are interchangeable. So I could, I don't know, use it for the spinning rod one. I think there's a casting variety as well. Oh man, battery level low. Oh shoot. All right, my battery level went low on that camera. I'm gonna have to go charge it up here. I guess that's a sign that I need to shut down here. All right, well, appreciate y'all joining today. Had a real fun time, and I hope to do this again. Do stay tuned. I do have these mobile fishing live streams. Again, all I do is take my phone, put it on a neck harness, and I just start fishing. And sometimes I do well, sometimes I don't. But I do get a lot of engagement with you guys joining, asking some questions, throwing some comments and whatnot, and just some good tips out there. And hey, share the information. Peyton Short. Okay, all right. Bye. Bye. Take care. All right. All for now. Next time we'll catch y'all later. Good luck and good fishing.